Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man from Parts Unknown. I hope my voice is getting through clear to you all tonight, and I hope you all are having a great night. And I'm sure you're waiting in anticipation, as of most everybody around the world. So I'm going to play some videos, make sure we got a good signal, and give people time to come in the chats. And I want to thank everybody for watching tonight, and everybody who joins me after the live stream. Welcome aboard.
What will we do with this moment? How will we be remembered? Look at the opportunities before us.
This election really isn't about the left versus the right. It's about we the people choosing our government and the choice between freedom versus tyranny.
Nobody has a chronic disease burden like we have. Why are we allowing this to happen to our children? Ultimately, the only thing that will save our country is if we choose to love our kids more than we hate each other.
What is going on here is deeper than politics. It is deeply spiritual. We are being called to rise above the hatred and the fear and the evil.
We need to remember above and beyond that we must love our neighbors, that we must treat other people as we hope to be treated.
You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative.
America is going to reach heights that it has never seen before. The future is going to be amazing!
Don't you want healthy children? Don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again?
I come to you today as a former Democrat. I will be a first-time Trump voter tonight.
The people dreamed this country, and it's the people who are making America great again.
January 6th, 2021. Lower West Terrace Tunnel, 4:21 p.m. Roseanne Boyland is struck in the face with a pepper ball that is fired by Capitol Police. As people choke and gasp,
I guess as I reflect on what you've said today, a couple things surprised me. I did not expect you to be as outspoken as you are about Kash Patel. He's been characterized as a professional career defense attorney and a career prosecutor. That's a pretty amazing achievement in his life. But he also has said and done some things which are impossible to understand and justify. For example, are you familiar with something called the QAnon conspiracy?
I have heard of it, but I do not know what it is, but I've heard of it many times, Senator.
So let me tell you what I've learned about it. Its core belief is that a cabal of satanic, cannibalistic child molesters are embedded within our government and are conspiring against President-elect Trump. They asked Mr. Patel about it, and he said, quote, "I agree with a lot that the movement says." End of quote. Does that sound like a good preparation to run the FBI?
Senator, I don't know anything about, I had heard of QAnon, but I've never heard that definition attached to it at all. You're going to have to ask Mr. Patel about those statements.
We will. And I'll tell you, until we get answers to those questions, I don't know many people on this side of the table will give him an unequivocal endorsement. This and his enemies list, what he calls his government gangsters, this is what you expect of Stasi. This is what you expect of secret police. It is not what you expect of justice in America as you've even described it at the table today. So I would say this unequivocal support of Mr. Patel should at least have some reservation until he explains some of these outrageous positions he has taken.
I look forward to hearing his testimony about QAnon in front of this committee.
You will.
And so do we, Pam Bondi, so do we. And I hope everyone's doing well. I want to thank everybody for coming in tonight. Let's see, Devin's up top. How you doing? Tracy, nice to see you. Colette, Sissy, Gary, haha. Linda Marie, television shows, what a party. That's right, Robin. Yeah, big anticipation. Wayne said, give me a thumbs up. Yeah, do me a favor and do that for me. Hi, KNS Cleanup. How you doing? Andrew, Debbie, Hebrew Hammer. Was he really on the 19th? Oh, a little bit of history there. Oh, the answers are already in our face. And hi, Todd. How you doing? Kathy's here. It's okay, good. Oh, we had some wonderful pictures. I put up on my thumbnail, I put a picture up of Trump laying the wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier with J.D. Vance. And let me put this up on the screen, what my thumbnail is. And I started off with this Pam Bondi video, and I'm gonna get the tail end of it, where she says she looks forward to the testimony. And we heard from Trump that we're going to be hearing transparency. Right away, we're going to be hearing some things, and that his executive orders are going to be momentous. So, shall not have died in vain. That is a quote from the Gettysburg Address. And keeping ourselves grounded as to what is happening now, what has been happening for the last 10 years. All the people who have never enjoyed the lifestyle that they fought to defend. Mothers who lost sons. That they shall not have died in vain. What's our sacrifice? What's our sacrifice? We pay a lot for eggs. We know there's criminals out there doing horrible things. We can't do anything about it. But yes, we can. Yes, we can. And that's what we've been doing for the past 8 to 10 years, trying to help our fellow Americans see what's going on. But we have to keep in mind those who paid the ultimate price. How could we let them down? How could we let them down? And I'm going to put up a post that was put up before the last selection, before this one. A flag flying high, and the rest of the quote or additional quote from the Gettysburg Address, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Together we win. And As I was thinking the other night that the rally would be for unity's sake, that Trump's mission right now, I think the two biggest parts of his mission are to make America safe and to unify the country. We've got other people in place to do what needs to be done, what has to be done, necessary, and we've been through it, and I'll go through it some more. That without transparency, without disclosure, without prosecutions, this will all have been in vain. I didn't see this on Trump's Truth Social. Maybe he posted it and then put it back down. Took it down, these two posts. But I got copies of them. Accountability is coming. Not elected to be nice, elected to get results. And that's what we're going to be looking at. So I'll play a couple of clips from Trump's speech today. That's pretty much the salient points. Very brief.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. We won. We won. McMahon is going to be our future Secretary of Education, which we're going to be giving back to the states. Let the state run education. I said to Linda, Linda, I'm making you the Secretary of Education, but if you do a great job, you will put yourself out of a job because you're going to be sending it back to the states, and she's fantastic. As a first step toward restoring transparency and accountability to government, we will also reverse the overclassification of government documents, and in the coming days, we are going to make public remaining records relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, his brother Robert Kennedy, as well as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and other topics of great public interest. It's all going to be released, Uncle Sam.
So we're mere hours away, folks. A little over 12 hours away from the formal ceremony. Our speculation as to what's truly happening aside, how many of you saw this post put out by General Flynn, reposted? And you got my attention. Catherine Herridge said, stay tuned. Is this a repost? Or is she physically there now? Camp Justice, Guantanamo Bay. Hi, television shows. Hi, Cynthia. Hebrew, let's see. Yeah, there it is, Camp Justice. Elon is, let me see, Cynthia's wondering if Elon's going to hang around because Vivek got spun off. Well, he claims he's running for Ohio governor. And that's fine. Elon has stepped in it a few times. He he stepped in it with his visa position. Him and Elon both stepped in it. And once they started hearing backlash and stuff, they realized that they had didn't have the proper perception of those particular visas. They conflated them with some very specific Einstein type visas. But the other thing too with Elon, no, he's not going anywhere. He is going to be kept on a short leash. He's relatively young. He's 54 years old. And he embarrassed himself over a video game of all things. Trump had him come up tonight with little X. And he spoke for, if you took the ums and the, I do it myself, okay, stuttering and confused speech, he could have done it about half as long. But the essence of what Elon was saying is that we have to cement what is going to be done in the next 4 years has to be cemented into our system, and we've got to change the system and protect the system. He's not going to go anywhere, but he's somebody they knew ahead of time has to be kept on a short leash. He's advisory role. And there you have it. This is the real cabinet right here. Do you see any chicken-legged, hairy-legged men in dresses and wearing wigs? Do you see somebody bald with bright red lipstick and a flaming red dress that was stolen from an airport? Yeah, normal people. Men, women, different races, different backgrounds. Yeah, well, he needs to be wrangled in. He's got to time himself, pace himself, and pick things that are important. And he hadn't been doing that. So nobody's perfect, but he's certainly served his purpose. This video I'm going to play for you now is the big story. And this was, I'm sure, the words that Mike Johnson used were very thoughtfully inserted into this disclosure. Keeping in mind, now he says in here he's the second in line to the president. Most people say he's the third in line because it's the president and the vice president and then the Speaker of the House. But we also know that if something happens to both of them at the same time, he becomes president. And then the procedures go forward to select another president. So technically, he is second in line. If something happens to the vice president, the speaker does not become vice president. Okay? There's a selection process, a nomination and selection process. So anyway, listen to what he has to say and the importance of what he's saying. Because he was only a couple of heartbeats away from the presidency, and how long he was exposed to what he's disclosing to us.
I do stand by it, and I say this without any personal animus at all. I mean, in some ways, I actually kind of feel sorry for Joe Biden. I mean, he's in the twilight years of his life. He is not, obviously, has not been in charge for some time. And I know this by personal observation, and now the whole world knows it. And it's been very, very concerning to me over the last, year and a half since I've had this position. Can you tell us a story when you say personal observation? What kind of thing did you see? It's public now because the Wall Street Journal got it and put it on the front page. But January a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, I had been asked, I became Speaker in October 2023, And there were all sorts of big national security concerns and everything going on, and I started requesting a meeting with the president because, you know, I'm kind of old school. I'm a constitutional law guy. The Speaker of the House should be able to talk to the president, especially in times of great national interest and calamity. But they wouldn't let me meet with him, and his staff kept giving excuses. This went on for like 8 or 9 weeks. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, he doesn't have time. What are you talking about? I'm second in line of the presidency. He has time. I need to talk to him. We had, I can't say the classified parts, but we had some big national concerns at the time that I was losing sleep over. Finally, I just went to the Hill Press Corps and I said, the president is not being allowed to meet with the Speaker. There's a problem. So they started putting pressure on him. Long story short, they finally relented. They invited me to the White House. I show up and I realize it's actually an ambush because it's not just me and the president. It's also Kamala Harris, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem, you know, the CIA director, everybody. And then, so I walked in the Oval and, oh, I know what this is. They're going to hotbox the Speaker on Ukraine funding. That's what it was. This is probably third week of January. We sit down, we're in the midst of it, and the whole conversation, and I'm going, we don't need to have this conversation. The president reaches over just like this. We're sitting right next to the fireplace in the Oval, and he grabs my arm and he says, the Speaker and I just need a couple minutes together. Would y'all just leave us alone? And I looked up on the faces of some of the staff standing around the wall, and they're like, oh, no, he did it. So he called it. He's the commander-in-chief. So everybody leaves, and he and I are standing awkwardly in the middle of the Oval Office right over the rug by that coffee table. And I said, Mr. President, thanks for the moments. You know, this is very important. I got some big national security things I need to talk to you about that I've heard and I think you know, and what do we do? But first, real quickly, Mr. President, can I ask you a question? I cannot answer this from my constituents in Louisiana. Sir, why did you pause LNG exports to Europe? Like, I don't understand, you know, liquefied natural gas is in great demand by our allies. Why would you do that? Because you understand, we just talked about Ukraine. You understand you're fueling Vladimir Putin's war machine because they got to get their gas from him, you know. And he looks at me stunned with this, and he said, I didn't do that. And I said, Mr. President, yes, you did. It was an executive order, like, you know, 3 weeks ago. And he goes, no, I didn't do that. And he's arguing with me. I said, Mr. President, respectfully, could I go out here and ask your secretary to print it out? We'll read it together. You definitely did that. And he goes, oh, you talk about natural gas. Yes, sir. He said, no, you misunderstand. He said, what I did is I signed this thing we're gonna conduct a study on the effects of LNG. I said, no, you're not, sir. You paused it. I know. I have the export terminals in my state. I talked to those people this morning. This is doing massive damage to our economy, national security. It occurred to me, Barry, he was not lying to me. He genuinely did not know what he had signed. And I walked out of that meeting with fear and loathing because I thought, we're in serious trouble. Who is running the country? Like, I don't know who put the paper in front of him, but he didn't know.
So what he has said, what everybody's been saying for a long time, and he said that for over a year, the White House has been manipulating Joe Biden, and he also said that the Wall Street Journal had discussed it. Trump has discussed it. Demands for him to have a cognitive test. Cynthia said, why didn't he take action to have him removed? What did you want him to do, Cindy? You want him to grab him and drag him out of the office? Well, what's he supposed to do? You're new to this, but I can tell you that I've discussed in the past, one of the laws of war is to achieve goals with the least tumult, okay? You don't want a breakdown of civil society. You don't want riots in the street. If you take actions that will cause that. It's like when General Flynn was asked 3 years ago, are you going to bring in the military? Do you think the military is needed? He said no. And he got booed. He said, because it's not needed. This has to happen the way it is happening. Because how else are you going to educate the general public? People are not they won't be willing to change unless they reach the precipice. Okay? You can't take an action that is going to leave close to 50% of the country not knowing what is going on. We have every major news service has been infiltrated and being run by communist forces, Marxist forces, and you got to overcome that. It's an illegal psychological warfare campaign that's been going on for years. Okay, they're entrenched in what we are doing and what Trump has been doing and what the 17th letter has been doing, what's called a counter psyop. Okay, this is an insurgency, ongoing insurgency that we've been a counter-insurgency. So wouldn't it be nice if you could just walk in and say, hey, I think Joe is out of his brain, get him out of here, and everybody in the White House will go, oh, you're right. Yeah, we admit it. We're right. You're right. We've been bad. We've been bad. And tell the press to tell the people the truth. Wouldn't that be a wonderful world? But that's not the world we live in. We live in a world where people like what's the one with the yellow hair, Joy, whatever her name is, talking about Elon Musk messing with the elections with his satellites. Now they think it's a possibility. We got people like, what is his name? Don Lemon. Where's he at? Right here. Don Lemon. I didn't copy the video. I don't want to play him. Says Don Lemon, Trump moved inauguration indoors because he was embarrassed by the expected crowd size. Just constant counter psyops. Where's that old bag? Here. Now what they're doing is they're moving into blaming robber barons, and warning the people that these evil rich folk are going to destroy our way of life.
So I miss him already. I miss him. He's a good person. You know, he spent the last 50 years caring about the country. This other one spent 50 years scamming everybody, you know, and trying to stay out of jail. You know who I'm talking about. You know, I really miss Biden. I feel like we were safe. Like, I didn't have to worry. Was everything going to blow up? Well, I could live my life while he was there. Now, every day I wake up and I worry, what is this guy going to do next? Yeah. And these oligarchs, can I just say one more thing and then I'll shut up?
No. You don't have to shut up.
They need to start showing.
This guy's Bezos.
Can you believe what you're hearing? This is an approved message. This was not her thoughts, okay? And I'll tell you, I'll let her keep going in a minute. She's lost $20 million, okay? I've talked about that in the past. Canceled contracts. HBO washed their hands of her. Sonny Houston, she's being sued, okay? She's lost about $10 million in appearances. One she already filmed, and they edited it out of the movie because they don't want to be associated with her. So these people have got a chip on the shoulder. But the problem with this so far is they're losing potential income. They're losing future income. I'll let her... She says she feels safe when LA is burned to the ground. She feels like she can go to bed at night when Gaza is flattened, when Ukraine is on fire, when there's a threat of World War III. She feels safe. The problem is they're losing future income They're not paying a price for what they're doing and have been doing and are currently doing. Okay? But let her finish babbling.
And what's his name?
do for
Musk.
Trump.
They give it to Trump.
Yeah.
Do they think that they're going to live forever, these people? You know, everybody dies. I hate to break it to them, but you are not going to live forever. According to the World Food Program, we could end world hunger by 2030 with $40 billion. That's all it would take. And he, Elon Musk, his net worth grew by $170 billion in the month after the election.
Oh, just wait.
Yeah.
Just keeps making more and more money, and nothing is done with that money to help people. It's just to increase their power.
Can you believe what you just heard? Not one word about George Soros when he was helping their side. Not one word about Zuckerberg when he was helping their side. Not one word about Bill Gates when he was helping their side for years and years and years. Not one word about the millions, hundreds of millions that Congress has been getting. Just look at Nancy Pelosi. Now she's trying to vilify. They're all, not just her, they're all trying to do it. She said did she say $40 billion would solve world hunger? Haven't we sent that much to Ukraine in just the last 6 or 8 months? Are you a mad woman? So this is the next thing that's got to fall, is this propaganda campaign. And I know some people like Bernie Sanders. What is that? Whoa. Let me get that back off the screen. But he's got his marching orders too. Right here he is. Listen to this drivel coming out of his mouth.
When you have a small number of multi-billionaires who have enormous economic, media, and political power, would you agree with President Biden, who last night stated, and I quote, "An oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that threatens our entire democracy, our basic rights, and freedoms," end of quote. That's what President Biden said last night. I agree with him. Do you?
Senator Sanders, I enjoyed our visit.
Talk a little bit closer into the mic.
I enjoyed our visit, and I hope you got my follow-up materials that on the discussions, my previous writings on the tariffs and China. And look, the three billionaires who you listed that all made the money themselves. Mr. Musk came to the country as an immigrant.
I understand that, but what I'm asking you is, when you have a handful of people like Musk, who will soon be part of the Trump administration, and others, when you have 3 people owning more wealth than the bottom half of American society, when these people have enormous influence over the media, when they spend huge amounts of money in both political parties to elect candidates, what Biden said last night is we're moving toward an oligarchy.
Now, hold on. I'm interrupting because I want to say Bernie Sanders is well aware of the money laundering that Trump busted up in his first term. I bet a lot of people in the chats don't even remember this. A lot of you do. The Obama administration had for 8 years a system where either the EPA or the SEC or whatever government agency they had control of would find companies, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, and they would reduce those amounts, say $100 million fine, but we'll only charge you $25 million if you make a donation to Acorn or Black Lives Matter or whatever group they wanted. They're talking about these 3 people, Okay, Bernie Sanders knows it as well as anybody else that the real oligarchs are the ones that are pulling your puppet strings, Bernie Sanders, and every other member of Congress that's on the TAKE. Okay? They're the threat, not the people you're talking about. But anyway, let it finish playing.
At how they made their money. Do you think that when so few people have so much wealth and so much economic and political power, that is an oligarchic form of society?
Well, I would note that President Biden gave the Presidential Medal of Freedom to two people who I think would qualify for his oligarchs. So
this is not a condemnation of any one individual. I'm just asking you, would so few people have so much wealth and power?
But
do you think that is an oligarchic form of society?
Senator, I think it depends on the ability to move up and down the income.
No, that's not really the answer. I mean, even if you had that mobility, no matter who those individuals might be. All right, but let me ask you another question.
Whatever, Bernie, typical commie talking point. I'm glad they're billionaires. I want to be a billionaire one day, and I don't want somebody like Bernie Sanders telling me what I can and can't do. But that's the way they're pushing for it. But anyway, I think what I was talking about earlier, that slush fund that they were forcing corporations to pay, because you know what, if they find oil companies, if they find big agriculture, and had the fines, air quotes, fines paid to their political supporters, we're the ones that paid for it in the long run. We're the ones. That was criminal. And we're going to be hearing about that among a great many other things. But anyway, here's I saw somebody put rats leaving the ship or something. Well, some of them are trying to, trying to ingratiate themselves. Where is that? Where is that? Here we go. Remember this moron? He's trying to normalize himself.
So now you're calling for unity.
I am calling for unity.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Would have been nice before the election.
He won. Look, he won.
And the other thing I thought was funny that you said was when you said, hey, look, I want Trump to succeed. You know who that sounds like? It sounds like a Democrat. It sounds like a Democrat saying,
well,
you know
what?
what?
Democrats sound like that.
Well, of course you want Trump to succeed. You're a Republican.
Here, look, I'm a conservative Republican. I'm a free market, limited government.
No, but you know what I'm saying? That's who I hear.
Yeah, but my brand of
things.
Conservatism doesn't always overlap with Trump populism.
I understand, but it was binary. But you know we argued about that.
I know we argued. I don't know.
Binary all along. It was always binary. And a vote not for Trump was a vote for Kamala Harris. Can you imagine?
I know you want to get back at this. Huh? Here's the point. A lot of this agenda, my kind of conservatism, Trump populism, it overlaps.
Okay.
We disagree on trade and things like that. I'm not with trade fights on China, but I'm not a big fan of all the tariffs on our allies. But the point is, all this other stuff, the tax policy, the border policy, the deregulatory policy, very good for America, very good for the economy.
Don't sacrifice the good for the perfect.
It only gets done if Republicans stay unified. And I think it's important that Republicans stay unified.
Okay.
Yeah, he's trying to rehabilitate himself. We'll see what comes of that. You know, that picture I've got on the left is Don Jr. posted that, and he said, this is going to be the vibe in America come tomorrow. And he said, I'm going to be there for it. And so are we, okay? The rally, thankfully, turned into a unification rally is what I was hoping for. Tomorrow is going to tell the tale. And it's not going to be a cinder block dropping on people's heads, but it's going to be, I think, metered out in a way that there won't be information overload. It's going to excite people and pique their curiosity. They're going to want more and more information. This is what Trump said in the short clip I played. He used the word transparency. Transparency. Hi, Karen. How you doing? Nice to see you. Rick, how you doing? Justin Bean, nice to see you. Marcel. Yeah, we did the best we could. Hi, Judy. Debbie. Let's see. Yeah, how many houses you own? Bernie, Cynthia asked. That's right. Oh, he folded. He's part of the machine. And that's typical of a Bolshevik Marxist form of government. How you doing, Tank? Darla. That's typical of a Marxist system. You get into the system, you benefit from the system, you point fingers, you throw rocks. Anybody that's a threat to your system, you go after. Show me the man, I'll show you the crime. And they want to preserve their way of life, okay? And they, don't you know, they know it all? How dare you question them? And that is what gives rise to another hallmark of Marxism and communism, is atheism. For the fool hath said there is no God. And as smart and brilliant as they are, there can't be another being as high as they are. And if they don't want to believe or accept in God, who do you think you are? That's the way they treat you when they get power. And that's why it's so hard to get power back to the people, because they know more than the people. So, here's something here. If y'all want to listen to, what do I call this? A blast from the past. An interview with Donald J. Trump when he was younger. Y'all want to hear it? This was the last year of Ronald Reagan's office. He mentions, he's talking about Ed Koch's administration of New York. He is not talking about Ronald Reagan, by the way, when he says there are problems. He's talking about Ed Koch.
How come this seat is at such a low level? You know, I'm looking at him. He's got this stage rigged, folks.
No. But give us...
That seat is a good six inches higher than my seat.
And so am I.
Huh? I
see. What were you like as a kid? What kind of childhood did you have?
Well, I had a good childhood, wonderful parents, really good parents, and it was a good, solid childhood, I'd say. Very normal in a lot of respects, but a very, very solid childhood.
Yeah.
From the standpoint of family, you know.
Are you a driven person? Did you jump out of bed in the morning and just...
I don't think of myself as driven. I'm fortunate. I don't need lots of sleep like some people, and some people don't. I don't need that. I would say that I'm somebody that enjoys what I do, and I enjoy it so much that perhaps I do it well. But I really enjoy what I do. I don't like to think of myself as driven. I don't like to think of myself really as ambitious. I just enjoy what I do.
What would it take, what kind of a hit would it take to get your attention where you would maybe need a drink? Where somebody came in and said, Don, we got some bad news. Woo! That's 7-Eleven in Akron. Well, what?
Hopefully, David, I wouldn't be in a position where I'd have to take that kind of...
I know that. I know. We're just pretending.
I just want to tell you that.
You act like you're running for something.
No.
What's the deal with you and Ed Koch? Is this an old irritation between the two of you, or is this something new?
No, it's really not. Ed Koch is a man who I've liked at some points in terms of... I have no objection to Ed except for one thing. He's not a very capable or competent mayor. He's done...
Whoa!
He's done a bad, as most of you New Yorkers would probably know, he's done a pretty bad job running New York, and that hurts me and it hurts everybody. And when I see somebody that's not competent and he's running something, and something that I have really a big stake in, it bothers me, and I do something about it.
Are you speaking from a position of somebody who has a lot of really, really special interest in the city?
No, it's not I do have a special interest. I have a special interest in New York. New York City is a hot city. It's a great city. It's the greatest city in the world, according to many, and according you're here, and we're also here.
Right.
And I hate to see some of the things happening with New York that have happened under the Koch administration. So I hit him pretty hard in the book, but I hit him fairly in the book. I hit him very fairly.
Yeah.
Probably very hard in the book, but very fairly.
Is it kind of a pointless defense to say that this city is so big that it is actually unmanageable to a certain extent, and he's doing the best he can, sort of just tending it day to day?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I hope that's never a defense of anybody. I did the Woolman skating rink in 4 months for $2 million or $2.5 million. They started 7 years before that and were unable to build it. I think they spent something like $15 million.
This is a huge ice skating facility in Central Park, which the city was...
7 years. 7 years.
7 years, they could not get it open.
They could not build it,
Yeah.
and we did it in 4 months. So, you know, you say, hey, it's big and everything else, and give them a little bit more time, but the fact is, that's a disgrace. The zoos are a disgrace. The subways, the schools. It's really, David, it's really management. It's management, it's competence, it's capability, it's just basic ability, and Ed Koch doesn't have it.
Yeah, but you're speaking again from the over-the-fence in private enterprise. He's trying to run a municipal administration.
It can be done.
You think it could be done?
Absolutely. By the right person, it could be done.
Yeah. Any thoughts? I mean, would you want to be mayor of the city?
No, I wouldn't want to be mayor.
I could run very well if I was mayor, but
He could have run for mayor and won. But I want to make a comment on one of the things he said. He enjoys what he's doing. I had a very successful friend that told me years ago, you can't know the difference between work and play. Okay? You want to enjoy all of it. Never wish your life away. Never look at the clock at work and say, oh, I wish it would hurry up and be 5 o'clock. Try to enjoy everything you're doing. Try to learn every day, something new every day, and look at your life and what you do every day as an adventure. And it'll really change the way you look at things. But that's the attitude Trump has. You don't know the difference between work and play. You try to enjoy all of it. And let me let this continue.
But I would not want to be the mayor of New York.
And what about the, are people trying to draft you to run for president up in New Hampshire?
Well, I guess a lot of people want to see this country, it's a shame what's happening. Japan, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, everybody's taking advantage of the United States. People know that if certain people are running a country, that it won't happen. I mean, when you look at Japan, not paying for the defense, we're defending Japan. We're losing billions and billions of dollars. We're fighting for AIDS help and for farmers and for this and that. And it's a shame, and the Japanese folks, who I respect greatly, but they're not treating us fairly. They're really not treating us fairly. Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, they're not paying us anything for the services we're rendering, and I think it's a disgrace. And I think people look at certain people, and maybe me, if I were in a position, this country, believe me, would not be ripped off like it is, and it is just being ripped off so badly by our so-called allies.
Yeah. So that's a pretty strong statement. So now, are you saying?
I don't think it's strong. I think it's fair. And by the way, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese. I do a lot of business with the Japanese, and they smile about it too. They know it. The country is losing billions and billions of dollars to Japan, and we can't afford to lose, and it's a shame.
But so now, are you saying this by way of indicating that you could do it better, and you do intend to run for president at some point?
No, I'm not going to run for president, but I think somebody.
Now, in 8 years, if you came back, would you have a different answer? In 4 years,
I tend to doubt it. I really tend to doubt it. But I just think that there are so many ways that this country can straighten itself out, and we're not going about those ways. Cutting farm aid is not the appropriate thing. Cutting help for the homeless and help for the poor and welfare. Certain things can be done that really will mean big dollars to this country, and those things are not being done right now.
Let me ask you one other question, because I know you have other appointments and stuff to get to. If you go to dinner and the bill is like, say, $25, how much of a tip would you throw down?
Well, you know, the way I feel about tips, if somebody does a super job, I give more than anyone. And if somebody does a lousy job, I probably give less than anybody. And that's the way I feel about life. Life should be, you should be rewarded for competence and capability and doing a job and having a smile on your face, maybe, if that's the case. And I'm a pretty good tipper when somebody's good, and I'm a pretty lousy tipper if somebody's not good. So that's the way it is.
But, you know, sitting here listening to this stuff, it seems to me you are dying to get to some public platform to superimpose those feelings upon the American awareness.
Well, maybe so, but I'm not. I would like to have the feelings known and let somebody else do it, and it can be done. If the ball's carried correctly, it can be done.
Yeah, but if you want something done right,
do it yourself.
That's just a little blast from the past. And yeah, it's interesting how he talked about tips. And then the next thing you see is the no tax on tips, right? Let's see, I'm just looking through the chats. And okay, so this is that Babylon B thing I was talking about the other night. Obama. Whoa, what in the world is going on? Obama to divorce Michelle after discovering she's actually a woman. Now that's a shock. The last part of that sentence, of course, is a shock. But anyway, they're trying to play games with their attendance. Where is that? I think this has even grown. I know AOC isn't going. Now, have you all heard that at first they said it was going to be in the rotunda, right? The Capitol Rotunda. Now they're saying they've canceled that. They're saying they've canceled that and they're going to have it in the White House. Did you all hear that too? Did you all hear that too? Because this is a couple of days old from Gunther Eagleman. Says skipping Trump's inaugural lunch. Clinton, Bush, Obama, Hillary, Laura Bush, and Michelle Obama, Mike Shell. So, you know what? Remember the Georgia senator, state senator, okay, that a couple of days ago got tackled and drug out? There's something going on there that people got to keep in mind. Remember when Trump wanted to do his State of the Union? The bottom line with the State of the Union was that he couldn't do it in the Capitol without Nancy's permission. Because Nancy, as Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, was in charge of the Capitol Rotunda. Right? Trump sent her a conciliatory letter about making his State of the Union. And then he said the best is yet to come, and Nancy tore up his address while Trump was ending his speech. Remember that. Of course, everybody remembers that. But here's a blast from the past. Dan Scavino said, remember this? On this day, 6 years ago, President Trump's reply letter to Speaker Pelosi. Back in 2019, the Honorable Nancy Pelosi, due to the shutdown, I'm sorry to inform you that your trip to Brussels, Egypt, and Afghanistan have been postponed. This is when he set her luggage out in front of her office. We will reschedule this 7-day excursion when the shutdown is over. So you get a little timeline about this shutdown. In light of the 800,000 great American workers not receiving pay, I am sure you would agree that postponing this public relations event is totally appropriate. I also feel during this period it would be better if you were in Washington negotiating with me and joining the strong border security movement. Oh, talk about the border way back then in 2019. And to end the shutdown. Obviously, if you would like to make your journey by flying commercial, that would certainly be your prerogative. God knows she's got enough money. I look forward to seeing you soon, and even more forward to watching our open and dangerous southern border finally receive the attention, funding, and security it so desperately deserves. Sincerely, Donald J. Trump. But this jars into people's memories the fact that they pushed for government shutdowns. Trump had to sue to try to put up the wall. Trump had to fight him every step of the way for a lousy $5 billion. We said, how long does it take us to send that to Afghanistan, the Taliban in Afghanistan, in weekly checks? Much less what we sent to Ukraine and every other country on the face of the earth. But anyway, that Georgia representative has got to put in his card deck, the fact of the matter is that the Speaker of the House, and that would go for this State House also, has say on who can come into the Capitol and who can't. Just like Trump has say so as to who can enter the White House, except for the press briefing room. That is run by some kind of formula. They have formulaic agreement with the press corps. So I'm wondering, did Hakeem Jeffries say no to Donald Trump? Mike Johnson mentioned 3 names when he was talking about people running cover for Biden and trying to steer the information about his competency. He mentioned Kamala, he mentioned Chuck Schumer, and he mentioned Hakeem Jeffries. So anyway, we'll see what happens with that. But the inauguration is going to happen. Nothing can what? Stop what's coming. And at some point, we're going to be saying, that's all, folks. And Sleepy Joe will be heading out the door. There we go. There's Sleepy Joe. That's all, folks. How much? We got 13 hours. 13 hours. Well, I'm see what you guys are saying. Wanda says he's already taken the oath. I heard that it was moved from the rotunda to the White House, but the public perception and the general consensus, okay, for millions and millions of people is that the magic time and hour is tomorrow at noon. Tomorrow at noon. So that's what we're going by with what, here you go. I don't know if you guys got this meme you can put up on Meta. You are here, 2025. How many times have you seen this meme get changed? Let's see. I want to see what I want to play here. I'll play Joe Arpaio. He was at the airport and he had a message for Donald Trump. And I'm hoping, I think Sheriff Joe is like 88, 87. I'm not sure. I didn't look it up before, but he's looking pretty good. And I want, you don't want to put a whole lot of stress on people, but he's a tough fella. And I wonder what role he's going to play. But here he is paying homage to Donald Trump. And I want him to have his say whenever I can facilitate that.
Here I am at the airport in Phoenix, ready to go to Washington, D.C. To attend President Trump's inauguration. This is the second one that I've attended. And don't forget, he had nomination situation too. And I was honored and privileged to attend those. In fact, I spoke at prime time on the nominating speech. So I'm very proud of President Trump, and I said to a national TV a few years ago that he's the only hero I ever had in my lifetime, and I'll take that one to the grave.
Ha ha. That's a high honor from somebody like Sheriff Joe Arpaio. And he's been through a lot. They tried to put him in jail also. Yeah, the creature from Jekyll Island. Yeah, look that up, folks. If you haven't already, it makes for good reading. Dean, how you doing, Dean? First it was 4 years. Now I have 13 hours, donkey. That's right. That is a great compliment. Did you hear? You know, stuff is happening all over the place. One thing that hadn't been reported, and I hope it ends up in an investigation in jail time, because one of the things they put down for Trump as his 34 felonies was that writing down something on the wrong spot in a ledger concerning campaign money. Stacey Abrams nonprofit with the largest fine in state history for illegally using funds to support her 2018 bid for governor. She's going to be one we're going to be seeing getting rounded up. Might not be, right away. It's going to go through a process, much like what we're seeing with Fani Willis. And I'm wondering, this came out, I think maybe yesterday or day before. President Biden has now issued more individual pardons and commutations than any president in history, after announcing Friday that he was pardoning nearly 2,500 nonviolent drug offenders. Now, if I'm correct, that would put him over 10,000 pardons. 10,000. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I had some people correct me in the comments section about $1 billion is 1,000 million. I appreciate that, guys. Aaron and somebody else put that in there. So I make mistakes, especially around getting close to midnight or something. But anyway, I believe now if Trump did that, the media would go bonkers. Totally bonkers. We got a lot of people in the chats. So I want to put up something that they may have missed, because Trump has made enough references for me to realize that what's happening is real. What we've been following for years is real. This picture right here, Catherine Herridge, stay tuned. Camp Justice, what's that? That's down in Cuba. Okay, Guam and then Guantanamo, okay, Bay, Cuba, right? And that was I'm just showing it again because we got a lot of new people in chats. General Michael Flynn, you got my attention. I've got those articles I'll go over one day about the expansion. Where is that comment from Trump? Here. Coming up, the most important weekend plus in American history. Enjoy, DJT. That's another confirmation. I was going to put a picture up of Trump's plane. A lot of people don't remember. When Biden showed up for his inaugural, it was on a private jet with over 2,000 members of a private security force. The military did not deliver Joe Biden to the White House. Okay? But the military delivered Trump. This is a plane he boarded. I was going to use this as my thumbnail, and I was going to call it Air Force Plus. Because we know there's a 17th letter plus. We've heard Trump say things, and after he says it, he says plus, plus, plus. And the media doesn't question it. They have no idea what he's talking about. We know what he's talking about. So they were saying, no, they can't call it Air Force One because Joe's still president. So they have to call it a special operations craft or something like SOC or something like that. No. AF plus. AF plus. And here's a picture of Trump and Melania boarding with Barron right behind. I didn't know it was Barron. I thought that was a Secret Service guy. And I had a picture of them waving on the steps. They were on the steps of the plane waving. Oh, maybe I didn't upload that one. But I got it after they landed in D.C. Here's a nice picture here. They were disembarking from Air Force Plus. And there again is Barron in the background. And Trump waving to the crowd. Melania. Historic moment. But don't you know, here we go. This is when they were leaving the plane. This close-up of these vehicles, you see the antennas sticking out of the tops of the vehicles? Never seen those before, have you? Look at those large rods sticking out of the top of the vehicles. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump motorcade has been spotted with vehicles equipped with electronic warfare systems to counter drones. That's what they've got on the top of those SUVs. You know, they had that counter. It was supposed to be a woman's march, is what they called it, a woman's march. Then they turned it. Here they are. Here they are, waving from the entrance to Air Force Plus. There's Barron's. My gosh, he's got to be close to 7 feet. You know, that boy's got a duck when he goes inside. But anyway, there's Trump boarding for the first time publicly known to be boarding. You know, we had videos like this. I took a screenshot of the thumbnail. I watch Next News sometimes, every now and then. But they're saying, D.C. dirty bomb threat just got real, and did a live stream. I didn't watch it, but, you know, these are the kinds of things that are going around. And I have a video that I talked about a couple of days ago. Maybe it might have been, yeah, day before yesterday. Let me see if this is it. Oh, that's that creepy little TikTok guy. I'll play him in a minute. Where is that one? I had a video about the, here we go. Let me see. Here we go. Right here. This is a fly along with, they're not trying. They're flying in planes in between buildings looking for signals, radioactive signatures.
From only 150 feet in the air, pilots dodge buildings.
And tower on your left side.
Flying in a grid over the National Mall to scan for radiological or nuclear irregularities, threats like dirty bombs.
So you're trying to create a blueprint of what the radiation in Washington, D.C. looks like ahead of the inauguration. Correct.
Department of Energy scientist Jacqueline Brandon calls this low-flying helicopter one of just 2 of its kind, her office.
If we find a radiological irregularity, we'll investigate it even further.
Highly sensitive technology sets off alarms in the air.
That's an alarm.
That is an alarm. It's a slight variation in our spectra is what it's saying.
On the ground, a mission led and meticulously rehearsed by the U.S. Secret Service at their training facility in Maryland. Agents role-playing worst-case scenarios.
Can we try a vehicle having a flat tire? Can we try someone having a heart attack? These are all the things we want to mentally prepare for because we have an immediate action for all those things.
Michael Thomas is the coordinator for the big day.
The amount of fencing and the amount of personnel that we bring in for this inauguration eclipses all other inaugurations that we have.
About 25,000 law enforcement and military personnel will safeguard the inauguration, including 7,800 National Guard authorized to protect the nation's capital and its 250,000 ticketed guests. Throughout the city, a ring of steel, 30 miles of anti-scale fencing. And along the icy Potomac, more than 25 Coast Guard vessels lined up.
Ready to deploy.
Ready to deploy.
Captain Patrick Burkett says teams are now prepping frozen waterways for patrol after a recent storm.
That put a lot of strain and stress on our resources and our personnel, and everyone knew that January was going to be a busy month.
Dubbed a national special security event demanding the highest level of federal protection, the inauguration comes just days after 2 others, January 6th electoral count and former President Jimmy Carter's funeral.
Yeah, so that was a good little video. This is the day before they announced the changing the location and, you know, the temperatures plunging and things like this. But this will give you an idea of where the inaugural address was supposed to be delivered, and you'll see the scaffold. Remember, Trump said, we're going to find out about this scaffold guy real quick. Remember the scaffold guy? But anyway, this is how it would have looked if Trump would have done his address outside.
Oh my gosh. Look at how incredibly majestic this is. Your president-elect, this is what you see right across the Washington Monument. And walk right down here. Wow, absolutely beautiful. Now, this is what you would call VIP seating. So lawmakers, Supreme Court justices, and also Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and Jeff Bezos reportedly sitting together here on the inaugural platform. Wow. So right here is where the president-elect will take the oath of office sworn in by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. And then there will be a podium like right here. So I'm actually like standing where the president stands. And right here looks out on this incredible view, the Washington Mall, to give his inaugural address. And as you can see, there are the pool cameras set up right in the middle. That's the shot that you see when you watch the President of the United States deliver the inaugural address. Now, that's a gorgeous view, but just take a look. Come this way. I just want you to see, looking back at the Capitol. I mean, it's so stunning. Capitol Dome is so stunning. And my favorite fact is that atop the Capitol Dome is Lady Liberty, a woman, the highest point in Washington, just a statue, but incredibly beautiful.
Well, he would change it to the inside of the Capitol Rotunda, but I've been hearing that it is going to be in the White House. So I don't know if Hakeem Jeffries had anything to do with that or not. But Mike Johnson is the one really in charge of the Capitol right now. So I'm in agreement with you, television shows, that keep moving it around and let them screw up if they want to try to stop something and expose themselves. So we know they're not going to give up easy. How you doing, Miss Mindersue? Nice to see you. Did you all see that big scaffold there in the center? Island Girl, nice to see you. So we got plenty of people, and do me a favor and give me a thumbs up. It'll help the video to get around. I really appreciate it. What is this one here? Let's see. I got this one just before I went live. Trump to sign executive order revoking security clearance of spies who lied to influence 2020 election. Okay, John Brennan, everybody was raising Cain because they thought Trump was going to take his security clearance. Eric Clapper, all these creepos. Fox News reports Trump will sign an executive order tomorrow suspending the security clearances for the 51 ex-Intel officials who signed on to the BS Hunter Biden laptop letter in an effort to help Biden win. Election interference, a totally justified and long overdue move. So that's just one of them. They're going to be monumental. But, before Joe left, he let everybody know. Okay? He's taking credit. Biden takes credit for developing dementia. So Kamala would take his place and lose to Trump so Hamas would release the hostages. See, it was all part of their plan. Look at Blinken there in the background, looking like he's ready to pass out. And nobody reported on this. Trump said, I just spoke to Xi Jinping. And he says it was a good call and that it would solve many problems starting immediately. Balanced trade, fentanyl, TikTok, and many other subjects. They'll do everything possible to make the world more peaceful and safe. You didn't hear a peep about that from Joy Behar or any other this other trash. But, I sit here and I go through other videos and something will catch my eye. Doesn't mean I watch it, but I click on it and get a screenshot to show you guys how kooky. The kooks are still out there, but they're down to about 30%, Liberals are freaking out over their last day in office. And the quote up there says, trans people are having their tubes tied. What is that supposed to mean? I think that's a good thing. Spay and neuter yourselves, okay? Nobody gives a damn. And what are you doing working for government with that mess on your head and dressing like a bum? That stuff is going to be out the door. Here you go. TikTokers are melting down over the TikTok ban. Of course, that's over with. Trump got it opened back up. I'm surprised to see some creators saying he's breaking the law. Now, why do you think the Biden administration had it shut down on the 19th? The most watched app by young people especially, to mute Trump's message and his inauguration and all that good stuff. Look at this. These colleges. Send your kid, my senior year of high school, dropping out of my first year of college. Look, is that what you go and hock for $100,000 for? That's what college teaches you? They should be teaching you when you dress like a freak, act like a freak, nobody will want you. An employer won't want you, okay? A spouse won't want you. And this Women's Right March or whatever it was, it degenerated into a hodgepodge of freaks and lunatics. But here, they tried to make the crowd look bigger than what it was. Okay, you see these tight shots. People's March on Washington, live coverage. Now, there were a lot of lunatics out there because there's a lot of lunatics in the world. But here's another. Sky News Australia. They show that stupid balloon, and look in the background. What are they wearing? Masks. They're still lost in that world. They want that security blanket. Like they knew that that shutdown helped to STEAL the election, right? They think they could pull that trick again. No. I got some pictures of the freaks in the crowd there. Where are they? Just to show you what in the world Democrats have devolved into. You know, if there are some women saying, oh, well, you know, I want my rights and this and that. Don't you look around that crowd and go, what in the hell have I gotten myself into? Why the hell did I come here? This one isn't too bad. But this is coordinated crap, professionally made signs, okay, from a well-funded organization, and it ain't Jeff Bezos, it ain't Mark Zuckerberg, and it ain't Elon Musk. This one girl in the green jacket is a meme. Have you seen the memes where the cartoon soy person is pointing at something with their mouth hanging open? Oh, a gooner. Well, that's what the girl in the front with the green jacket on. She's actually that meme. But anyway, you think they made those signs up themselves? But I tell you, after looking at some of their compatriots, I think it's going to make people say, what the hell am I doing here? What's this one? Oh my God. This is what a loss of morality, a increase in a sense of self, okay? A woman has been arrested after allegedly poisoning a 1-year-old girl for months so she could post videos of her online in order to solicit donations from the public. That's the best picture they could put out for us. Influencer accused of poisoning a 1-year-old to get donations and followers, police say. Yeah, that kind of makes you not give a damn about TikTok being shut down. Here's the Babylon Bee. Gen Z upset about TikTok ban for 4.3 seconds, which is the maximum amount of time they can focus on something thanks to TikTok. Here, I'm going to throw this one in there. Should have shown this one after I played that Pam Bondi video. This girl named Sassafras put up Panic in D.C. Retribution is incoming. And it's a quote from Pam Bondi. Mr. Schiff, you're asking me if we're going to investigate Jack Smith or Liz Cheney. Are there any more names you can provide me with that we shouldn't investigate so that I can add that to my list? Boy, that burned them up. Here's a blast from the past. Not that far back. October 5th, 2014. This is before the election, right? 2014. It is a blast from the past. This is a over 10-year-old article. Margot Kaplan. P3diophilia is a disorder, not a crime. Not a crime. Well, I'd be checking her social media and her friends' social medias. See what the hell is going on with that. Here, look at this idiot. Stephen Colbert. Quote, next time you see me, Donald Trump will be president, so you may not see me. Why are you thinking that, Stephen? Why are you thinking that, Stephen? I know why. Look here, statue, a big statue. Ohio sculptor Dan Cottrell has forged Don Colossus, a 15-foot tall bronze statue of President Donald Trump. The statue will tour the country before ending up in a future presidential library. And there he is. Speaking of presidential libraries, remember I said there was nothing going on 8 years after Obama's been out of office. They haven't laid one brick. So people are thinking we're out there and we don't know what we're talking about. Ask them about that. What is going on with Obama's presidential library? 8 years after he leaves office. They're usually done very shortly after a president leaves. We're talking almost a decade. I know who's going to get a library right here. Right here. That's who's going to get a library. Ha ha ha. Hi, Jersey Joe. How you doing? That's right, a prison library. Oh, I want to thank Norm for going by Buy Me a Coffee yesterday on an off day. That proves the Buy Me a Coffee link works after the video's been published. I got a link in the description. If anybody want to help us out with Buy Me a Coffee. An after hours coffee. It was a nice surprise. And I appreciate everybody that's helped all through the week and all through the month, really. They didn't say where this picture was from. I think this is D.C. Does it look familiar, folks? Yeah, this week Gary and Mike and Bev helped out with Buy Me a Coffee. Hi, Miss Bender Sue. How you doing? Roland, nice to see you. Minus 29 Celsius. What is that Fahrenheit, Roland? Please tell us. Us Americans, we go by Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit. It sounds cold. A little bit of other news. Breaking. 2 top Iranian judges, SHOT, DEAD, in Iran Supreme Court in a planned assassination. I had some video of the outside of the Supreme Court, a bunch of cops around and stuff. So apparently they did it right outside of the court as they were coming into court. I don't know what this means, or but it's a big deal. Whoa. Speaking of big deals, where is that report? Because this is going to hearken us back to Bill and Hillary. Because if you remember, they let a lot of classified stuff get out about rocket technology, okay? Chinese specialists have carried out final tests of a classified hypersonic air-to-air missile, the South China Morning Post reported, citing a source. That means shooting down other jets. Hypersonic. It is noted this is the first confirmation of the existence of a new weapon. That's something the Ruskies haven't talked about. That's something North Korea hadn't talked about, something the U.S. hadn't talked about. Air to air. We've heard of hypersonic missiles hitting land-based objects, not air to air. But remember what Trump said, we can shoot a needle out of the sky. Israeli Defense Forces, you all have heard this too. The 3 released hostages are being transferred. They're accompanied by special forces upon their return to Israeli territory, where they will undergo an initial medical assessment. They've been there for over a year, if you can imagine that hellish situation. Here they are, 3 hostages released. And it's got their names there. 2 of them are American citizens, I believe, or maybe more, I don't know. But Trump definitely wants the American hostages out, or there'll be hell to pay. Minus 40. Good Lord, Roland. I hope you got a good wood stove, buddy. General Flynn also posted this. In the You Can't Make It Up category, with all the craziness going on, today is National Popcorn Day. Enjoy. January 19th, 2025 in the U.S. It is National Popcorn Day. I don't know if you all knew that or not. But it's popcorn day for us every day, isn't it? This is Time Magazine. Remember, they had that other Time Magazine cover of Trump sitting there during a storm. You remember that? You remember that? They put "He's back." Somebody made a meme of this. They made a meme. Where is it? Where is that meme? Here we go. Meme makers, busy as can be. Ha 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 ha. So anyway, I had a picture of that other Time Magazine cover. I have to look around and see if I can find it. Now, this TikTok thing, this got some wordy dirds in it. It's from some young creator. You know, I think if you can't say things on TV or talk about subjects or describe things on TV, you shouldn't be able to do it on the open app either. But this kid, you know, he can't help the way he is. He's effeminate or whatever, but he's a big TikToker. And in the end, he says, ew, if I have to say, make America great, I will. But anyway, let me play it.
I gotta keep it real. I am crashing the fuck out right now. I don't know what to do. Oh my God. I've already opened and closed the app probably 6 times already just to keep getting the same stupid warning message. Oh my God. Like this just this is so dystopian. First of all, I feel pathetic that I am freaking out like this over an application being unavailable on my phone. But also, like, this has been a massive part of our life for the last 6 years. And normally when something happens, I would get on TikTok and start complaining, and I can't even do that. I feel like disconnected. I feel cut off from the world and my community. This is crazy. This is fucking crazy. God, and I can't, like, now I'm rooting for Trump? Ew! God, like, make America fucking great again, I guess. God.
Ew, well, make America great again, I guess. God. You know, that's learned behavior. A lot of that is learned behavior. Here, folks. Here's a little something. I don't know if you ever seen this before or not. See what that says? Let me get that out of the way. Off the screen, but you saw it. So I don't get in trouble, right? The date of that post was January 18th. Just a little reminder why we're here, what we've done. All right, folks, I have got a nice video to play that the music might get me in trouble, but I think it's a super video to end this video. And I think you'll enjoy it quite a bit. And I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me. And I want to make this where you can see Trump dancing off to the side. Even though this is a serious video, you still want to see Mr. T in a good mood, because that's what it's all about, returning our country to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, a rebirth of our constitutional republic. Once again, thank you for spending your precious time with me. Enjoy this video. Please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe so you know the next time I go live. So you all have a great night. Enjoy the video. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
I think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give president tremendous power to destroy. This will be something we could never have imagined.
Now the gloves are off.
Some of Trump's close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he sees as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. Take care of it.